Hello everybody, Caden here today with another episode of WildLife Park. And today we are back on the world to create by far one of the best exhibits I think I've done on this series. And that is our Giant Panda enclosure. Now this is much like the Red Panda enclosure build type thing, or the garden, I guess, the garden exhibits we did an episode ago, which took an extra day to get out just because the build took a lot longer and I spent a lot more time kind of planning things out. Same deal with the panda, or the Giant Panda. I just needed more time to get the video done, so that's why it's a bit late, but I think it's overall very much worth it. This build turned out way better than I thought it was going to. It turned out to be, again, one of my all-time favorite builds I think we've done on this channel. I don't know, there's just something about what we end up creating that I think is just fantastic. So to start off with, we're building a viewing area, and you might be like, "Oh no, Caden, you're building another viewing area like the snow leopard. Isn't it gonna turn out kind of eh?" That's what I was afraid of too. Don't worry. But this one, trust me, it turns out pretty well, pretty good overall. I think definitely one of the best kind of builds like this I've ever done, I think. It is a lot of trial and error, and you're kind of going to see that as this time-lapse continues. I switch out a lot of blocks for different styles and kind of just try out different things and see what works. I did kind of just throw stuff at a wall and see what stuck, but overall, I think the final build is pretty amazing and totally worth the time it took to build it. But yeah, I decided to go for another I don't want to say specific nation because, I don't want to kind of be wrong, but I guess a general East Asian kind of themed viewing area, again, like we wanted to do with our snow leopards. And this one, I think, definitely turned out way better. I think it also helped, though, that I had kind of nailed down a lot more of a style since we had done the garden. The garden kind of gave me the style, and then a lot of the stuff with the interior of the exhibit is stuff we've worked on in the other exhibits in this region or this part of the zoo we've done and all that kind of stuff. So I think it'll kind of start coming together a lot more. I'm going to go through a couple more block types. I think I'm going to switch out the tiles for some, I believe, dark oak wood soon, just because that did end up looking a lot nicer. And the whole top of the roof kind of gets changed as well. You'll see what I mean. But yeah, anyway, I did have one major thing I wanted to kind of talk about, or not major thing, but a thing I thought was interesting, and I figured I should bring this up early in the video so more people hear it. But that is, I'm kind of realizing something about this world, at least, and that is, I think we're almost about halfway through, or at least all the animals we have to build exhibits for. And not only that, but the farther on we get, the more and more exhibits there are going to be that are probably going to have multiple animals, like our Red Panda exhibit. So this series is going to start speeding up to its inevitable conclusion, which I've realized. And I've been trying to think, what do I do? Do I want to do do I just want to make another zoo after this? Do I just want to end the series? What am I going to do? And I don't know, I want you guys' opinion on this idea, because obviously you are the people who watch this. I want to know what you guys think of this. But I've considered doing something like I've seen people do with Planet Zoo and Jurassic World Evolution, which is once the first general park ends, where you try and get everything in, every video mini-series for that thing. So this WildLife Park, we're trying to get every single creature from every single mod we have into the zoo. But say after this we do a themed zoo, we could just strictly do an East Asian zoo, so it's what we're building here, but bigger, and maybe try and find a few more mods to add in a few more animals, or make custom animals ourselves using textures. Just design the whole zoo to look like this one area. Or we could do a 1930s zoo, so it's a lot of small brick and iron bar enclosures and stuff like that. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of that idea. I think it could be really interesting, and it would definitely mean that this series, although obviously this park will end, that the Minecraft Zoo series continues on in general. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And also, as I finish saying that, you can see the final version of the roof, and I think it honestly looks spectacular. I think I built this one wide enough, which definitely helped out. There's tons of space to stand. I should have thrown in some benches and I think some potted plants or something, while I was working on this still. But I think overall it's fine. I'll throw those in eventually when I start going through and decorating this area. But yeah, I think this viewing area just is really awesome. I think it did a wonderful job. And I know I spent a ton of time on it, but I think it really helped me kind of figure out more of what I wanted to do. Anyway, now onto the panda exhibit itself. And like people keep suggesting, I actually did go and look through some real exhibits for some inspiration on how to make my panda enclosure. I took a bit of inspiration from, I think, the National Zoo for the US, which is in DC, the Berlin Zoo, and a couple other zoos, I think, for how I was going to do this. So the main idea I decided to go with was having a river between or like a low river type thing between the animals and the visitors. That way, I don't need to do a fence. So there's super high visibility as well for all this. And then at the back of the enclosure, again, instead of doing a fence, I decided to do a massive like mountain type thing so the pandas can't get out. But I don't know, you'll see when we finish it, but it really does just look like a little slice of nature. It has this amazing look to it, this amazing feel to it. And I don't know, I just really love how it looks. It kind of reminds me of the brown bear exhibit we did, but better. This exhibit's just better. It looks nicer. It has a much grander feel to it. The viewing area is just fantastic for it. Obviously, there's still stuff that I need to work on, mostly with like the surrounding area and kind of getting the decorations in. But again, that's for a different day. That's for a different time. But yeah. Overall, I'm really happy with how this overall looks, how it's kind of come together, and yeah, you guys will kind of see it's kind of hard to tell right now because it's just a weird little rock thing, but yeah. Oh wow. But yeah, this build is just very awesome, very good, very happy with how it turned out overall. But yeah, I'm doing the typical shore type thing where we just mix in podzol, coarse dirt, and stuff like that before I start building up the actual hill itself, because obviously we need the hill, because we need to make the terrain look interesting. I did end up deciding to go with a waterfall as well. I don't think I set that up though till around the end of the build, just because I kind of wanted to set up the whole area first and kind of figure out what I was doing. But yeah, here I am trying to get the back of the enclosure set up. This was difficult to kind of do because, I didn't really have like this, I don't know, it's kind of different. I usually have a shape that I can work off of with the terrain to kind of get things like this working. But this exhibit is literally placed over a river and like a massive drop off because it's the edge of a mountain range. So it was kind of hard to get it like working properly, but I think it kind of starts coming together about now once I start throwing in more of the stone and kind of getting that rock wall going. And I also think this is one of the better rock walls I've made in this area. I think it really just looks very natural and kind of fits the whole look and aesthetic really well. And yeah, just overall looks really good. I'm really, really happy with this overall. This, again, I know I'm going to keep saying it, but I think this exhibit is some of my best work I've done on the zoo. It's just fantastic. Just absolutely amazing. But yeah, just good overall. It is making me think, though, the more I'm working on things like this panda exhibit, that, I know I haven't been uploading daily for a little bit now because Mythcraft kind of broke. I'm considering coming back with some other videos, something to replace that, just because that series, well, it's not that the series was like bad or anything, it's just the mod pack stopped working and the world it was on imploded, so I couldn't really get it back, and then I didn't really want to restart either. But yeah, I know what I was going to say, I know I haven't uploaded tons lately. I've only done about 4 videos a week, but I am somewhat considering moving WildLife Park down to 1 video a week for one reason and one reason alone. And that is, it lets me do more videos like this. It lets me make much grander builds that take more time to get done, that are just kind of more impressive overall. And I don't know, I think that could be really worthwhile, both like view-wise and just sheer quality of builds. I mean, looking at this thing, like, if I definitely don't think I could do 2 of these in a week. Maybe I can, who knows. I might still try and do the elephants this week as well. Again, that kind of just depends more on like, do I have the ideas for it and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's something I'm considering. I am also considering doing another survival-based series. I might do it at 1.16 though, just because I don't know. I haven't really messed around with 1.16 that much, and I feel like it could be fun. Just do like a little survival series or something, just somewhere to build, stuff like that. But yeah, you can now kind of see, I think, how the exhibit's kind of coming together, and just oh yeah, and there's me messing up with World Edit again. Still getting used to World Edit. But yeah, overall, that was weird. I don't know why it just suddenly went black there for a second. That must have been a weird bug with replay. But yeah, overall, I think everything just turned out really well. You can kind of see, yep, there's the waterfall. You can kind of see how the exhibit's gonna look now. I do eventually replace that rock I've just placed there though with a shelter, which I have to say is one of the few things I really kind of think I should have put more time into with this build and just kind of made it look a bit nicer. But it was starting to get pretty late at night when I got to that part, so I kind of decided to just call it quits there. But I think it looks pretty good overall. I do decide to do more of those custom cherry trees or cherry blossom trees we've been doing. And I think these 2 are actually my favorite cherry blossom trees we've ever done. Like, I think they just turned out really well. They look really realistic. They might not look the best from this top-down view we've kind of got here, but trust me, when we do the end of the episode viewing, just amazing trees. They look really good, look really lifelike, and I'm just really happy with that. Speaking of which, I'm considering doing some sort of like custom tree tutorial, so I feel like that's a good point to bring it up. Let me know if you guys would like to see that kind of stuff. I could very easily do that. But yeah, like these trees just look fantastic. The bamboo looks awesome. I didn't go as bamboo heavy on this exhibit as I thought I was going to go. I was expecting it to go, you know, like just tons of bamboo everywhere, but I think I only did like 4, maybe 5 small clumps of bamboo. Yeah, but overall I think it turned out really well. The bamboo was a bit weird to work with though. Like it would spawn in sometimes, but also wouldn't spawn in sometimes, and just kind of worked really weird occasionally. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say. I'm just gonna finish decorating off the exhibit, and then I will meet back up with you guys to give you the quick little tour at the end. All right, everybody, here we are with the final version of our Giant Panda exhibit. And I have to say, I really love it. I think I've done a wonderful job here. I think it looks fantastic. This viewing area here is what I wanted to do with the snow leopards. But this time I think it actually turned out well. I think it definitely captures the aesthetic I was going for. And yeah, I think I just did a really good job with it. But anyway, let's take a look inside as we quickly walk in here to well, I guess view the pandas. And yeah, I don't know. I just really think I did a fantastic job here. It just, I don't know. It just has this awesome feel to it. Very cool. Very, I don't know. I love it. I did somewhat base this off, oh, what was it? I think I based it somewhat off some pictures I saw from the Berlin Zoo's panda exhibit, as well as the Smithsonian Zoo. What do they call it? It's like the National Zoo in the US. Their panda exhibit as well. These pandas from Mo Creatures are absolutely tiny though. Like minuscule little pandas. So I've thrown several of them in here to try and fill the exhibit out a bit more. But yeah, so you might notice, and you've definitely noticed in the time lapse, there are no fences here really. I took this idea from one of the exhibits I saw online, and that was basically having kind of like this rock wall type thing in the very back, so they can't get out that way. Whoops. And then between the rock wall and then coming to where the visitors are, there's just this like steep pool where the pandas can't get across. Because yeah, I don't believe there's any way for them to get out using this method. And I really like it overall. I think it gives it a very cool look, very cool aesthetic. Yeah, I don't know, it just feels more natural in all honesty because there is no fence. It's just this like, these natural barriers keeping the pandas in. And yeah, I just really love it. I think it looks really awesome. It was cool to take a bunch of the things we've been doing with every other exhibit around here. And kind of just mixing the stuff we've been practicing over here with these exhibits with some of the style of this exhibit into just one overall amazing enclosure that I think is definitely one of the highlights of this zoo so far. But yeah, I think the cherry trees are my favorite part, just because these are probably the largest cherry trees I've custom built, and I think I did a fantastic job with them. If I were to say, though, the one place I think I really kind of dropped the ball, it's the panda shelter. I think I could have made this a lot nicer. I think I could have made it a lot better, but overall, I think it's also acceptable. I would have said the real thing I dropped the ball on is not really texturing up the rock work around here. And it definitely looked like it needed tons of texturing until I threw in the trees, at which point you don't really see most of the rock wall to the point where I feel like it's kind of okay. It isn't super textured up with like andesite and cobblestone and stuff because at the end of the day, you don't really see much of it. But yeah, anyway, I think that's all we have for today. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. If you like this exhibit and you want to see more, leave a like on the video. And yeah, hopefully next episode we will get to work on something else over here. I was gonna say the elephants, but that's gonna be another huge exhibit, so I don't know if we'll get straight to that one. We'll see. It depends if I have the energy for it. But yeah, thank you again for watching. Hope you've all enjoyed, and until next time, guys, see ya.